Prime Minister to interact with street vendors in Swanidhi Samvad program today. Prime Minister says he is eager to interact with the street vendors. Prime Minister's Swanidhi scheme was launched in June to help COVID-affected street vendors to resume livelihood activities. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to attend meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of the SCO starting today. He reached Moscow last evening. He made a stopover in Tehran and held talks with his Iranian counterpart Javad Zafri. Health Ministry issues SOP for partial reopening of schools of classes 9 to 12 standards. Students allowed to attend school to clear doubts on a voluntary basis from 21st September. SOP is also issued for entrepreneurship training institutions and higher institutions. Also, Delhi Metro's Blue Line and Pink Line resume operations. India's COVID recovery rate improves to 77.65%. Also, low case fatality rate 1.7% as compared to global average of 3.28%. 17 states and union territories reporting mortality figures lower than 1%. Key accused in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case, Riya Chakravarti's bail rejected. Riya sent to 14 days of judicial custody by magistrate court till 22nd of September. Raging wildfires across Washington, California, Oregon, 80% of the homes in Malden town destroyed. Firefighters and emergency responders searched for residents. In the US Open in women's singles, 2018 Open champion Naomi Osaka and Jennifer Brady advanced to semi-finals. In the men's singles, Alexander Zverev advances to the semi-finals. Good morning. You're watching Daily News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold Swanidhi Samvad with street vendors from Madhya Pradesh today via video conferencing. Arrangements for beneficiaries of the scheme in the state to watch the program at public places have been made through LED screens in 378 municipal bodies. Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, will also participate. Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi scheme was launched by Government of India on 1st of June 2020 to help the street vendors and small shops facing losses in business due to corona crisis and help them resume livelihood activities. Madhya Pradesh government has registered 4.5 lakh street vendors who are eligible for loans. Besides, the MP government has also issued identity cards and certificates to more than 4 lakh street vendors. In the backdrop of the ongoing Unlock 4, partial resumption of activities in schools for students of classes 9 to 12 will be allowed from 21st of September. The Health Ministry issued guidelines to ensure smooth school operations. Students of classes 9 to 12 will be allowed to attend school on a voluntary basis for taking guidance from their teachers after taking written consent from their parents or guardians. Apart from mandatory masks, schools have to ensure regular sanitization, including frequently touched surfaces, respiratory etiquettes, hand washing in the schools. Teachers and students have to maintain physical distancing of 6 feet wherever feasible, while seating arrangement has to ensure a distance of 6 feet between chairs, desks as well. In the school premises, only asymptomatic people will be allowed, while online and distance learning shall be encouraged. Whereas schools outside containment zones will only be allowed to open, students, teachers and employees living in containment zones will not be allowed to attend the school. 50% of the teaching and non-teaching staff will be called to schools. Also, assemblies, sports and also other events which can lead to overcrowding will be strictly prohibited. Swimming pools and cafeteria and mess facilities will also remain closed. And similar SOPs were also issued on preventive measures to contain the spread of COVID-19 in skill or entrepreneurship training institutions, higher education institutions, conducting doctoral courses and postgraduate studies in technical and professional programs requiring laboratory or experimental work. Health Ministry's teleconsultation platform e-Sanjeevani completed 3 lakh teleconsultations. The Health Ministry rolled out the second teleconsultation service e-Sanjeevani OPD, enabling patient-to-doctor telemedicine on 13th of April of this year owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this proved a boon in containing the spread of COVID-19 while simultaneously enabling provisions for non-COVID essential health care. The platform completed 1.5 lakh teleconsultations on 9th of August. The platform has registered double that number of consultations within a month since then. 1 lakh of these teleconsultations were held in the last 20 days. Telemedicine service connects doctors with patients and has provided essential health care at a critical time when conventional medicine is perceived to be risky owing to the nature of the infectious disease. e-Sanjeevani platform supports 2 types of telemedicine services, vis-a-vis doctor-to-doctor and patient-to-patient teleconsultations. It aims to implement teleconsultation in all the 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers by December 2022. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who reached Moscow on Tuesday evening, will be attending the meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Moscow starting from today. India is to attend the CFM meet for the 3rd time as a full member of the SCO. The meeting will be reviewing the preparations for the forthcoming SCO summit and also exchange views on the international and regional issues. External Affairs Minister is also expected to have several bilateral meetings, including with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, which will be held today. And India and Russia enjoy an important strategic partnership, and this year marks the 20th anniversary of the signing of Declaration of India-Russia Strategic Partnership. On his way to Russia, Dr. S. Jaishankar made a stopover in Tehran on Tuesday and held talks with his Iranian counterpart Javad Zarif, covering various aspects of bilateral relations and regional developments. Both the ministers discussed strengthening of the bilateral cooperation and reviewed regional developments. In a tweet, Dr. S. Jaishankar said, and I quote him, "A productive meeting with Foreign Minister Javad Zarif during a stopover in Tehran discussed strengthening our bilateral cooperation and reviewed regional developments. Thank him for his gracious hospitality." Also, the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif in a tweet said, and I quote him, "Pleased to host my Indian counterpart Dr. S. Jaishankar in Tehran for talks, discussed the expansion of bilateral relations and trade and exchanged views on important regional issues. Our active engagement with our neighborhood is our top priority." And our correspondent Abhishek Jha is joining us to get us more on that. Abhishek, we've told our viewers about the meeting of the foreign minister, which will be held today at the SCO forum. Let us know more about the day ahead, and also we tell our viewers that he is also expected to hold other bilateral meetings.
Priti, the Foreign Minister's bilateral engagements will be with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov today. Besides that, this SU meeting will be there where the member states will be presenting their views about the vision and the scope of work that this international forum is going to do. The meeting is happening at a time when the world is dealing with this corona pandemic, and that can be one of the major discussion area of this meeting. Also, the foreign ministers will be laying ground work for this upcoming SU head of the state meeting, which is scheduled to be held sometimes in November or maybe in the last of November in India. India will be hosting that SCO head of the state meeting. So broadly, this engagement currently, which is happening in Moscow, will be deliberating on the issues that these heads of states will be discussing or finalizing during the next in the coming months that will be held in India. Basically what this SU group has been so far being able to do, that it has discussed with its various sectoral discussion have happened. We have seen that Defense Minister Rajya Singh was last week there, where the regional security and other important issues were discussed, where Rajya Singh also expressed his concern, and he has also advocated the scope of work against terrorism among the SU states, and such issues of importance which also concerns India will be discussed during this ongoing SCO Foreign Ministers meeting also.
Also, Abhishek, India is to attend this meet for the third time as a full member of the SCO. I would want you to acquaint us and our viewers with how important is the SCO as a forum when we talk of regional and international issues.
So, Priti, this SCO forum was established somewhere in 2001. China was one of the founding member. India got into this forum as an observation member, but from 2017, India has been the full-time member of SCO grouping, and in the last 3 meetings, India has been able to express its point of view among the member states. This is one of the platform where India has an opportunity to access Central Asian countries in terms of trade dynamics, in terms of security issues, in terms of bilateral cooperation. This occasion provides an opportunity for India to have accessibility to those countries, which otherwise have to be dealt bilaterally or at some other international forum. So this is one of the major takeaways from India from this SCO forum. Also, this at this time when this whole SCO forum meeting is happening, this is happening in the shadow of India and China having a tension going along the borders. Though this is a bilateral issue, and SCO platforms avoids doing this discussion at the forum, but one can expect that during the bilateral meeting with our foreign ministers, with his other counterparts, such issues of broad concern would be discussed. Especially there is a feelers that External Affairs Ministers is going to have a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi also at the sidelines of this SCO forum. So one can expect that to ease up the tension, there can be some discussion where the India would be able to express his point of view and point of concern to his Chinese part, which has been an aggressor in the past few months.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us with those inputs. And in other news, Delhi Metro's Blue Line and Pink Line resume operations from today after being closed for 171 days due to COVID-19 pandemic. On Monday, Delhi Metro had resumed services on its Yellow Line with curtailed operations and a slew of measures for safety of passengers and employees. Trains are to operate in batches of 4 hours each from 7 a.m. till 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. in the first stage. The reopening of these two lines will ensure availability of 9 of the existing 28 interchange metro stations, including Rajouri Garden, INA Delhi Heart, Yellow and Pink Line at Mayur Vihar Phase 1, also Rajiv Chowk, Anand Vihar, that is ISPT, and Sikandarpur. And now we take a look at the update on COVID-19 situation from across the country. 73,521 recoveries were recorded on Monday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 33,23,950. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 77.65%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. The fatality rate stood at 1.7%. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 8,83,697, which is 20.65% of the total cases reported so far. According to the Health Ministry, India has progressively maintained a low case fatality rate at 1.7% as compared to the global average of 3.28%. The aim is to achieve a national CFR of less than 1%. There are 17 states and union territories that are even today reporting mortality figures lower than 1%. Now, this has been made possible by the standard treatment protocol, which has enabled provision of standardized quality healthcare across states and resulted in low fatality and also selfless service of the doctors, paramedics and support staff in hospitals. Up next, we'll take a look at the COVID-19 situation across most affected states of the country. Maharashtra continues to be the worst affected state, registering 20,131 new cases yesterday. 13,234 patients were discharged, while 380 patients died in the past 24 hours. Currently, there are 2,43,446 active cases in the state. Tamil Nadu continues to show progress on the mortality front from COVID-19, with the death toll again staying below the 100 mark, recording 89 deaths yesterday. 5,776 persons tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, while 5,930 patients were discharged yesterday. In the national capital, Delhi, 3,609 new cases of the infection were reported yesterday. 1,756 patients were cured and discharged, while 19 patients died in the past 24 hours. Currently, there are 22,377 active cases in Delhi. And now let's take a look at the other story. Key accused in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case, Rajya Chakravarti's bail has been rejected, and she has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody by the magistrate court till 22nd of September. Also, the Narcotics Control Bureau arrested her earlier in the day on Tuesday and stated, and I quoted, "It is clear from her statement that she is an active member of the drug syndicate connected with drug suppliers." While seeking her judicial custody, the NCB relied on the statements of late actor Sushant Singh Rajput's house help Dipesh Sawant, Chakravarti's brother Shauvik, and Sushant's house manager Samuel Miranda. Chakravarti was questioned by NCB for 5 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours on September 7th, and for 6 hours on September 6th. During his statement, Miranda disclosed that he used to procure drugs on the direction of Sushant and Chakravarti, and also that the financial matter in this regard was being dealt by Chakravarti and Sushant. Sawant also disclosed that he used to receive drugs along with Mr. Miranda for Sushant on the directions of Chakravarti. Commenting on Ms. Chakravarti's arrest, her advocate Satish Manishinde said, and I quote him, "This is travesty of justice." Sushant's sister Shweta Singh Kirti tweeted that God is with us. And our correspondent Shama Mishra is joining us on this. Shama, the key accused has been arrested. Her bail plea has been rejected, and also she is in the judicial custody for 14 days. Tell us more, how significant is this arrest and what next in the case?
Well, it's definitely a very big arrest, and not just in the Sushant Singh Rajput's case, but also this case, this particular angle will lead to another bigger, we can say, cartel citadel that is happening in the Indian film industry. Apart from this, we are also getting to know that Satish Manishinderia's lawyer would be wanting to appeal to a higher court for the bail fee of Rajya Chakravarti's, whereas Rajya Chakravarti would be spending the next 14 days in judicial custody. Also, the cross-examination, if any, would be required by the NCB. That would also be done because we know for a fact that today, Samuel Miranda, Dipesh Sawant, and Rajya Chakravarti's brother, Shauvik Chakravarti, their custody that ends today, and the NCB would be wanting that the custody would be extended or judicial custody should be given for more questioning. Also, we also have to remember that this in particular case, the arrest has happened in the drugs case because the charges that has been put on Rajya Chakravarti, if that is to be proven, then it may be seen that more than 10 years of imprisonment or a fine of 1 lakh or 2 lakh can happen to Rajya Chakravarti. But till now, the murderers or that kind of speculation has not happened. For Sushant Singh Rajput, this has taken another angle, and the angle which we are seeing is totally different. And we are yet to see that how the entire this step by step goes to the murder or the suicide case of Sushant Singh Rajput.
All right, Shama, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. In other news, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has given its approval to Power Grid Corporation of India Limited to undertake monetization of its tariff-based competitive bidding assets, that is TBCB, held in existing special purpose vehicle through Infrastructure Investment Trust. The approval would facilitate Power Grid to undertake asset monetization of its identified TBCB transmission assets, so that the proceeds from the asset monetization could be utilized for fresh investment in the transmission network expansion and other capital schemes of the company. In the first block, Power Grid would be able to monetize 5 TBCB assets of gross block of rupees 7,164 crore as on September 2019. Up next, a quick look at the global COVID-19 situation. Over 2 crore 77 lakh people have been infected by the virus. COVID-19 has claimed the lives of over 9 lakh people worldwide. As many as 1.98 crore recoveries have been made so far. The United States remains the worst affected country in terms of both COVID-19 infections and fatalities. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the US for several weeks now, and it has now crossed the 65 lakh mark with over 65.14 lakh cases of the virus. US has a death toll surging past 1.94 lakh. Brazil stands second in the terms of deaths by COVID-19 with over 1,27,000 deaths. A rapid COVID-19 testing station has been rolled out for passengers at a Newark Liberty International Airport terminal. Testing facilities were first made available to workers late last month. The facilities provided at these airports look much like any doctor's office, replete with all the necessary diagnostic machines and equipment. The LaGuardia and JFK airports are also in the process of debuting with their stations. According to Express Check, the testing turnaround will be down to 15 minutes by the end of the month. Also, 20 airports have inquired about installing such stations in their terminals. New York has recorded more than 4.73 lakh cases of COVID-19 and over 33,000 deaths. Engineers have developed a robot that can detect whether people are wearing a mask to guard against COVID-19, and also, if not, politely remind them to put one on. The idea is not to have a robot police whether people are wearing masks or not, but to provide a friendly reminder. Pepper has been previously placed in German supermarkets to ensure social distancing in the early months of the pandemic, and this is the upgraded feature of Pepper, the Robocop that is already in operation in some countries, welcoming visitors to shops, exhibitions and other public spaces. Meanwhile, in the US, uncontrolled wildfires have driven high winds and unprecedented temperatures which raged across the US western coast, incinerating Washington town of Malden, Oregon and California. Firestorm destroyed 80% homes in Malden along with the fire station, post office, city hall and library. Over 200 people were airlifted to safety as fires forced thousands of residents to evacuate their homes. More than 14,000 firefighters battled 25 blazes in California, with more than 2.2 million acres charred since the fire season got an early start last month. California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection said that the state's peak fire season is yet to begin. Let's get you some sports updates. Talking of US Open, 2018 champion Naomi Osaka of Japan advanced to the US Open semi-finals for the second time in her career, ousting Shelby Rogers of the United States for 6-3, 6-4. American Jennifer Brady battled nerves to defeat Kazakhstan's Yulia Putintseva in straight sets and reached the semi-finals of the US Open for the first time. Brady, seeded 28th, beat her 23rd seeded opponent 6-3, 6-2 in just 1 hour 9 minutes. German 5th seeded Alexander Zverev advanced to the US Open's Final Four by rallying past numbered 27 Borna Koric for 1-6, 7-6, 6-7. 7-6 and 6-3. Two impressive tie breaks and a late break in the fourth set gave the German player success. And back home in Arunachal Pradesh, women in small groups are taking initiatives to open new avenues for themselves and also for others, and to be self-reliant. In many remote places, women self-help groups are working in the field of agriculture and handmade products. Despite challenging weather and infrastructural problems, women have always set examples of hard work and also determination. Amma Bhagi, a woman from Itanagar, has set an example for all. Let's take a look at her story.
Local and traditional artifacts are always center of attraction for consumers, and same artifacts preserve the cultural traditions. Amma Bhagi, an entrepreneur from Upper Subansari district of Arunachal Pradesh, has close association with handmade products and she started by making doll, bag, basket and bouquet. Amma decided to impart her skill to other needy women from her district through her organization, Doni Ane Multi-Purpose Society. She contacted women who were just confined to home and started giving them training for local handmade products like dolls and other items. One of the main objectives was to learn a skill, to earn for themselves and their family.
वर्क भी हो जाएगा, इसमें माइंड डाइवर्ट भी हो जाएगा और हमारा मार्केटिंग आने वाला दिन को ये कभी ना कभी तो हम मार्केटिंग में लेके जाएगा, स्पेशली अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट यूथ लड़की लोग होता है, औरत लोग होता है, ऐसे कुछ भी उन लोग का पास करने के लिए उन लोग को हम बुला के ट्रेनिंग देता है.
During the lockdown, Amma Bagi and members of her organization gave new shape to their products, mainly dolls attached with local tradition and culture. So their product is not like any other product available in the market.
यहाँ में औरत लोग बहुत घर में ऐसे पड़ा रहते हैं ना, तो कुछ भी काम धंधा नहीं होते, तो घर पर हम लोग हाउस वाइफ है, तो घर में अपना घर का काम ख़त्म होने के बाद हम लोग ऐसे फ्री रहते हैं, तो फ्री रहते हम लोग ये डॉल मेकिंग को बनाने से क्या होता है, अपना एक जो हैंडक्राफ्ट जो अपना एक ट्रेडिशनल अभी जो प्लास्टिक का जो चीज़ है वो सब हम लोग पकड़ना नहीं पड़ेगा, और प्लस अपना जो ट्रेडिशनल जितना भी जो डिज़ाइन है उसको भी हम लोग बाहर में हम लोग शो कर सकते हैं ना, और साथ ही साथ हम लोग को हाउस वाइफ होने का नाते बहुत सपोर्ट मिलता है पॉकेट मनी के लिए.
एक्चुअली ये काम को हम मेरा पॉकेट मनी के लिए हम स्टार्ट किया था. डॉल एक बनाने के लिए ये 2 घंटा या फिर 1 घंटा ऐसा लग जाता है, अगर आप डेडिकेट से पूरा इसमें देने से. अगर रेस्ट करके बनाने से तो 3-4 घंटा तो हो ही जाता.
Amma Bagi sets an example for other women that a small initiative can give them new meaning to life, not only being self-reliant but also being a helping hand for home and others. With Pilyania, Sanjay Pratap Singh, DD News, Itanagar.
The self-reliant and inspiring women of Itanagar there. On that note, we'll end this bulletin here. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.